We've had some great invited categories in the 2018 edition of the Shannons Nationals, and here at Sydney Motorsport Park we have something that is very Italian flavoured. If you enjoyed watching Colin Bond racing Alfa Romeos in the Australian Touring Car Championship, or maybe Greg Carr in the Australian Rally Championship, you'll really enjoy this. The Veloce Racing Association, this is Alfio Musumeci.
Hi, Greg.
Great lineup of cars here this weekend, isn't it?
Fantastic. We've got 18 starters and a great variety of cars.
And cars that represent both new and old in the lineage of Alfa Romeo too, aren't they?
Definitely, and probably that's our hardest point. We struggle to make the rules effective where we can have old cars competing with new cars due to the different levels of modification, but we're doing a good job. It's really close up the front.
Nice smile for you. Tell me a bit about yours, how long you've had it for, what modifications have been made to it and so on.
Sure. Look, this is an Alfetta GDV 2-litre, but it was fitted with a Beninca turbo kit in its early days from the famous Benincas from sports sedan racing. And since then, we've done a few little mods to make it more reliable because it wasn't designed to race that hard for that long. So it's running an intercooler and injection rather than the old carby system. But it's lightweight, fairly standard street suspension. So the power that it has more than the other cars, it doesn't handle and brake as good as the other cars. So it balances things out.
We love the sound, and we've seen some great racing when you guys have been a part of the program in the past. Lots of passion, I would imagine, among your rivals and the constituents here too.
Oh, definitely. We take it serious as like the big boys, don't worry. It gets close out there.
Well, it's great to have you on the program this weekend, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your time here at Sydney Motorsport Park.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Rusty. As you can see behind me, the Veloce cars are now in the marshalling area getting set for race 3. They joined the championship last year and they've put on a wonderful show for us this weekend, and we'll see these beautiful Alfa Romeos out on track shortly. Remember, this is third race of the weekend, the final race of the weekend, and the final race we'll have here before we get the Australian production car 4-hour underway. Now, this category behind me has got a number of different classes. You've got the over 2 litres and the under 2 litres, as well as various classes within. They're trying to bring them all back to a more parity model. So those that are a bit more high powered are actually brought back to the rest of the pack. There's a number of different classes within this category, but it's all about the Alfa Romeo and the love for them. It's a motoring enthusiast club, and I can tell you that a lot of these guys, and a commentator I work with internationally, one of our British Touring Car Championship drivers is David Addison. I just want you to watch out, Jason, because they may be released very shortly. The officials are over behind me. But if they... these guys actually meet. They've got a Yahoo club, they've got a Facebook group, and they've also got their own website as well. So feel free to check them out. And if you do love the Alfa Romeo class, and we know they've gone back into Formula One now with the Alfa Romeo Sauber team, a lot of love globally for them, where you can join the car club and be part of it. You can even bring your cars out and race them as well. I know we've got Darren Smith up in the commentary box. Darren, I know you've got a love of Mazdas, and I also know you've got a passion for cars like Alfa Romeos as well.
Certainly do. I'm looking forward to getting my backside into an Alfa Giulia Super in the not too distant future out of Makula Car Storage in Melbourne. So yes, Cameron, the love of Mazdas is gone, but the new love for Alfas is burgeoning in my life, that's for sure. This was the race held earlier this morning as the sun came up and kissed Sydney Motorsport Park with a beautiful day. I've got Mark Pizzafolli from the Veloce Racing Association right alongside me. It was a good bit of action this morning, wasn't it, Mark?
Oh, it certainly was. Plenty of movers and shakers in the field, and it's great to see the cars out on track.
Michael Musumeci seems to have the machinery under him and the ability at the wheel to really challenge for these wins, but this was a defining moment of the race, wasn't it, when the number 15 went through there, which was Dave Capraro. And we also saw this car right on tune there, the Alfa, the Beninca Turbo coming through the number 5. More about them when we get the cars back on track in just a few moments, but this was a great race this morning.
It certainly was. Alfio coming through the field. I think he moved up to 4th position at the end of the race.
Just saw the side of the car number 623. Love the big numbers. We've got a 281, a 477, a 623 and a 901. I reckon by next year we'll have a 690-12 and a 2394 or something like that. Start to run the VIN numbers down the side or something like that, the chassis numbers.
There we go.
There we go. One good thing, Mark, I like about you guys is that you don't just say it's an Alpha GTV6. You rattle off the chassis, the body, and how many valves the engine's got. Very important details to you guys, isn't it?
Detail is very important. Even if you just go through the pits and have a look at the vehicles, you'll see that they're meticulously maintained and kept, and you know, after every race they're wiping it down, cleaning it up. It's got to be well presented as well as well driven.
So cars are now setting themselves up here on the Sydney Motorsport Park grid. It'll be 8 laps. And don't miss it, ladies and gentlemen. These guys love dancing on the big stage here at the Shannons Nationals, and they're about to do it for us. We're not going to see paint and wheels and bumpers flying everywhere. We're going to see some classic metal being driven what they were built for. In a sports fashion, racing, the Alfa Romeos. The Veloce Racing Association on display, and the number 66 of Frank Carigliolo bogs down off the line, gets gazumped by Robert Ceriti, and he goes charging through. What that's done is opened up turn 1 for Michael Musumeci. If he needed any more encouragement, there it was. The car right next to him, not getting underway.
No, and Frank's now making a move with Robert Ceriti, and he goes definitely, it dives in the inside.
Oh, a bit of a wobble there, the 18 just understeering there. Robert Ceriti got a great start. He's now just falling back into the clutches a little bit there. Is that Dave Caprero?
It is indeed.
He has absolutely brained them off the start. He was off the rear of the grid.
And he's in 4th position.
And they're going 3 wide into turn 4. This is going to end in tears. There's the Beninca Alpha of Alfio Musumeci. Musumeci works very, very hard behind the scenes with the Veloce Racing Association. Running wide there. In the red GTV. Here he comes up the inside, the red GTV with the very purposeful vented bonnet there on the number 5. Just give us an idea of what is under the bonnet of that number 5.
It's a 2-litre motor with a Beninca-built turbo manifold and inlet, running an intercooler at the front as well. Obviously, the front mount is not suitable in its street form for racing, so it has been slightly modified. But otherwise, it's still running transaxle, which is the gearbox at the back.
Which is kind of, I guess, like one of our other invited classes was the 944 Racing Association.
Correct.
Kind of the same thing of trying to get that 50-50 balance, isn't it?
Spot on, spot on. You can see Alfio working very hard there.
And I guess out of a very similar era to the 944, the GTV6s and the 944s. So they were an invited class at Winton. But the Veloce Racing Association jumping on board here with the Shannons Nationals again, like they did last year. Got to say, to be heaps cooler if there was like 35 of them out there as well.
Yeah,
fill the grid with them.
Absolutely. There are a few tucked away and some that are in need of repair, but they'll definitely come out very shortly.
And the tyre, you're all running an R-spec tyre, so like a very sporty road tyre, I guess.
Yeah, so we're running a Yokohama AO55, I think it is, from memory, or 50.
50, similar to what improved production.
Correct, spot on.
And the 944s again runs a popular tyre. Pretty durable too, aren't they?
Very durable, good lifespan out of them, so it works well for us. We're a radial-only class.
Looking back down through the field there. There's our race leader, Michael Musumeci, to Frank Gillery there, David Caparo, Darren Harris for the first time pushing in to the top end of the field in the number 623. Here's an under 2-litre car. Bit of a dark horse this far up, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
2-litre?
Yeah, it certainly is. Darren Harris has a fantastically prepared car, and he's one of our strongest 2-litre guys, running in the under 2 litres. So
well, there he is challenging the turbo car.
Absolutely, he's got some great corner speed in that car. He's and very well driven as well.
Up to the top of the complex here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Triple apex right-hander. Running very wide there. This is Alfio Musumeci. Does a lot of work with the Veloce Racing Series and doesn't mind mixing it up when he gets out there on the track, running right out over the back of the ripple strip. Front on shot now, Musumeci to Carigliolo. Caprero coming down. Two very similar silhouettes there in the 15 and the 66. And Cameron was touching on just the breakup of the classes coming into this race whilst down in the marshalling area. Just give us a drill down on each one of those classes and what's in them.
Yeah, absolutely. So it starts off with an evolution class. So that'll be either a modern front-wheel drive like Michael's car at number 17, and then Dave Capraro in car number 15, second on track. Again, he's running a 3.3 litre carbureted vehicle, so that's a evolution class. Then we've got the Norval class, which is a GDV 3 litre 12 valve or 2.5 litre 12 valve motor. Again, then it goes to under 2 litres. So moving forward to that is then the Group S class.
So the Group S is what we're seeing. Matt McGrath running in the 105.
Spot on.
Yep.
Okay. Definitely.
And the under 2 litre Darren Harris currently leading that field with Panetta down there in 8th.
That's right. And Darren's actually winning our overall championship as well so far.
In the under 2 litre car?
Yes.
Oh, good on him. He gets to every race?
Correct.
Yep.
So he's at this point he's winning our championship, which is great to see him, fighting it with the V6 guys.
Your next round of your championship?
He's actually at Sydney Motorsport Park.
Okay.
In November. That'll be our last race for the year.
So, of course, production cars are the next race on the card here, and the final race for the entire year for the Shannons Nationals, a 4-hour production car race, and they will round out their series the first weekend of November at Phillip Island with a 6-hour race. And then, of course, at Phillip Island Magic at the end of the year, where the Q 1-hour sports car race. Wow, Michael Musumeci running very wide there. He's asked a lot of the Yokohamas this weekend in the front-wheel drive car. Seems to all be becoming a little bit unstuck at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely getting some tyre wear in those cars, in that car.
So regularly we see some Alpha GDV 6s running in that Q sports car, production sports car race at Phillip Island. There's a 1-hour race at Island Magic. Regularly see some of the GDV 6s and even some 105s, but not Group S ones. I think they're a little bit more standard than the Group S ones that they run there. And they run sort of within their own class, because out front these days there's Audi R8s and Lamborghini Gallardos and things like that. But it's certainly good that there's many different classes. Like this, there's a number of different classes you can go out there. You might not get across the line first, but you can take a trophy home in your own class.
Absolutely, and we're all about class racing as well. So there's not only class racing, but there's also the overall championship over the year.
So the Veloce Racing Association, is that an arm within the Australian, within the Alfa Romeo Owners Club of Australia, or is it a standalone club?
It is a standalone club, but we've got very deep red blood, Alfa Rosso connection with the Alfa Romeo clubs around all of Australia.
I love
predominantly on the East Coast.
I love it. Yeah, I do not joke when I say if you feel like a short black, head down to the Alfa Veloce Racing Association garage and make friends with one of them down there, and you'll quickly have a very short, very strong coffee thrust into your hands.
Absolutely, we've got mini coffee machines going there.
Good stuff. We have got 5 laps still remaining here, and it's Capraro who has come from the rear of the grid, stamping his authority all over the Veloce Racing Association as part of the final round of the Shannons Nationals here at Sydney Motorsport Park this weekend. And we look forward to seeing how this plays out, because Michael Musumeci has had a really strong run here this weekend, but at the moment, Capraro is running away with this. He's still got 4 laps to go. Here's the battle that waged early on in the race there. That's Cerriti in the number 18. But have a look at this Group S car up the inside of Darren Harris now. This is a under 2 litre car versus a car in period racing trim.
Correct. They're both our quickest, one of our quickest 2 litre guys.
In fact, at our opening round at Tailem Bend, we had Group S as part of the supports there as well. And there was a couple of, I can't remember the guy's name, there was a very quick 105.
Yeah, great cars.
Chasing down Rusty French in his D Tomaso. That's how quick it was.
Wow.
Not in a straight line.
No, I can appreciate that.
Through the twisty bits, the 105 was all over it. What a magnificent car. Beautiful design. Well, every bit as aerodynamic as a modern car, aren't they?
They certainly are.
They really were thought out very well.
Matt's definitely looking for a way through.
Around Corporate Hill they come. The red blood running strong in this all-Italian Alfa Romeo field. Darren Harris opens the door up ever so slightly. The 6.23 over the 4.77. Between now and 12 months when you guys come back and join us, you've got to drill down on the story behind the numbers of these cars. Why they go for such high numbers? I thought everyone was chasing number one.
Yeah, no, you would think so, but for some reason there's a love of triple digits.
Big numbers, that's right. I always raced with 16 because it was easy to peel the 6 off when you become the champion and run the number one.
That's a good way to think about it.
Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. Well, is it if you build it, they will come. And that's what you guys are doing, actually, aren't you? You're building a series, and the Alphas keep joining you. The Morris Finance leaderboard. David Capraro leading by 3 seconds over Michael Musumeci. Then we go back further to Frank Garigliolo, and he's in the first of the Navarro cars, and then Alfio Musumeci in there as well. So, gee, are we going to see 2 Musumekis on the podium? Has that happened before?
I think it has. I think it has, father and son. We've got quite a few competitors that are a father and son team. Unfortunately, we've only got one here today. But it's great to see the next generation coming through.
Yeah, well, my dad didn't consider me. He got rid of the Alfa Giulia Super not long after I was born, actually. There you go. So he probably blames me for that.
Yeah.
Out of the corner, Darren Harris now goes. He's defending to a very quick Group S car. The 105 down the inside. There's the respect right there. You're going to dive under brakes, mate. I'll let you have a look at it. But you want to be prepared to have me back up the inside of you as they go around Corporate Hill, and that's exactly what's going to play out here. The 105 could have the inside running down into the hairpin. He's going to hold strong. Darren Harris covering his line. Didn't jag straight over there, just eased across.
If you had a good look, you would have seen his helmet just tilt up a little bit just to see where he was, and that's the respect we're talking about. It's great to see that.
So 2 laps to go. Here we go. Here's a challenge on father and son here.
Yeah, now we've got, now Dad has caught up to his son. So that's Alfio in number 5 and Michael in front in the number 17.
So on screen, at the moment, the number 17, Michael Musumeci, the son of the guy in the number 5 car in position number 3, Alfio Musumeci, back to Frank Carigliano, sorry. And this is a strong battle. Both Darren Harris, both Alfio Musumeci and Darren Capraro coming from the rear of the grid, and both of them are currently poised for a podium finish.
They certainly are. It's a great effort from the guys to come back there, but here we see Frank.
So how are we within the Veloce Racing Association? How are the points sitting at the moment? Who's who in the zoo in each of the classes?
No, certainly. So in the under 2 litre, we've got Darren Harris leading the under 2 litre. In Group S, we have Andrew Wilson currently leading that championship. And then in the Evolution, we've got Michael Musumeci. And in the rear-wheel drive V6 class, which is a Norval class, we've got Danny Gatto, who unfortunately had mechanical and couldn't start the weekend, but he's leading the championship with Frank second.
So still another round to go in November for the Veloce Racing Association, and this battle has been going on for 2 or 3 laps now. The number 477 has got through on the 623. And this is for, believe it or not, 6th in the race. It's like it's the World Championship for 6th between these 2 guys. Here is the battle, which has now been won, I guess. Alfio has gone through on Michael and is kind of driving away from it this time. I guess he's out after Capraro out in front. That's a good 3.78 seconds on this 1 lap remaining, so he's now got the mirrors filled with Michael's car there. So this is going to get willing between father and son. There's Dad in front in the red car.
I think from Dad's point of view, he'd like to be in front of his son, and I'm sure Michael will respect that.
I wonder what Mum thinks.
Who knows?
I'm going to tell you that Alfio's in trouble if he beats Michael at home.
Oh, it's whoever prepares the cars, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah. get out there and do the best. The number 66 there, Frank Carigliano. Very typical GTV silhouette. This one sans the bumpers, so obviously a lightweight version.
Yeah, this is an early model, so this is 76, 77. So they regarded that as a metal bumper, and then the later model cars were, I think it was just after in the 80s, and they had plastic bumpers. So it was an evolution, like a Series 2.
Yep. Our race leader, David Capraro, coming around the top of the Sydney Motorsport Park complex now. Really acquitted themselves very well, the Veloce Racing Alphas. Look a picture on track, and it's certainly the enthusiast level of motor racing that has been on display here. Checkered flag at the ready, and it's David Capraro. Well, what a day from rear of grid. Brings the GTV 6 down to the line and goes to the line. Who gets second? Well, Alfio goes back. It's Frank Carigliano that gets it over Michael Musumeci, and Alfio Musumeci in fourth.
Wow.
I told you, Mum was on the phone and said, let the boy win.
Yeah.
Maybe Nonna was on the phone.
There you go. Wow.
Let the boy win.
Finish.
So there you go, to the line. It looked like it was going to be Alfio to P2, but it's Frank, then Michael, Alfio, and the rest of the field streaming across the line now, Mark.
Fantastic, fantastic race, a great event put on by Shannons, and very much appreciated to be here and be a part of it.
There's our race leader, David Capraro. Hand out the window, just acknowledging his fellow competitors. Drove right through the field. What a landmark day. Driving from rear of grid to the front and getting a win. And I guess Alfio solving mechanical problems with your help, Mark, of course. Your car came fourth in the end.
No.
Nearly got second.
Well, that's okay.
Nearly got
done
second.
well, done well.
Yeah, it certainly has. They've hung it all together. And there goes the Veloce Racing cars back into the pit. So it's David Capraro and his Alpha GTV 6 over Frank Carigliano in his Alpha GTV 6. Michael Musumeci swings and roundabouts this weekend, comes home in third place in the final race for the day. Alfio Musumeci, another one from the rear of the field to come fourth. Matt McGrath in my favourite car, the Alpha 105 GTV, magnificent looking thing. Coming down to have a drive of that, Matt, by the way. Roberto Sorrenti in sixth, Darren Harris 7, Rob Panetti in 8, and Bradley Scott Moody in 9, and Paul Murray rounding out our 10. Amante, and those that didn't get through to the end there was Michael Baguetto. Here was the start of the race there. It was Michael Musumeci, and it was the number 18 actually that got away really well there, and Robert Sorrenti. Unfortunately for Rob, he didn't hang on to that spot for too long. But Michael Musumeci right there on the opening lap looked like he had enough lead to win the race, didn't he?
Definitely.
Number 28 right round the outside of the Group S car. And we start to line them all up to get through 6 down the straight. There it is, the big Veloce proudly displayed across the top of the window of that silver GTV 6 with the truck colour down over the bonnet as well. So leaving absolutely no doubt to the heritage of this type of racing. And there's the 623 of Darren Harris. Real good pleasure to see the under 2 litre car in there. And really great news to get the fact that he's leading the outright championship, showing up, reliability, being prepared. One other red Alfa Romeo GTV 6-bodied car in this country that preparation is everything, and I refer to Tony Ricciardello.
Absolutely.
Albeit with a 6-litre Chev under the bonnet, but certainly those guys dip the hat every single time they possibly can to the Alfa Romeo heritage, as are these guys. There goes the Beninca Turbo, the number 5 of Alfio. Got himself up to P2, but there's the number 15, Capraro, who greeted the checkered flag and did a fantastic race there from the back of the grid. So there he goes, down to the line. And this was all being sorted out in the background. Capraro gets a checkered flag. Alfio Musumeci's lost second position to his son,